Today I present to you a new brand on the channel and we're going to talk about GAMEMAX. Now we have a power supply only here which we will do a regular overview and introduction when it comes to power supplies. As you remember, a couple of times I mentioned about the cost when we're talking about the actual lab for testing out the power supplies. It's enormous, so eventually maybe one day in future that opportunity will arrive, but until then we're doing just an introduction and overview. So first of all, let's start with the actual name, GX1050. Now this isn't a graphic card, it's missing a T and it's missing an actual PCI slot and all the other stuff, right? But we're talking about a power supply that is 80 plus platinum, fully modular, PCI 5.1 and ATX 3.1 ready. Now, let's be honest, from the start, when you see the box compared to all other boxes, you don't get some sort of an impression that we're talking about something that is, I don't know, that will impress you, or at least, I mean, we are talking about the power supply after all, so there's not much to be impressed by. But then you open up the box, and then you see, first you see this, right? Because the power supply is covered. And then you check out, okay, so we're having a bag for cables, which usually you don't get. You get only like this, and sorry for the additional noise, but you get it only like this, right? And then you see white cables, right? Thin cables, and I'm going to take the stiffest one out because we're talking about 24-pin cable, and usually what you get there here is, well, it's stiff because we have loads of cables. It's regularly, I don't know, unmanageable or anything similar to that. This one is fully flexible, right? And I'm talking for you guys that don't have the possibility right at the start to invest into custom sleeved cables, or you simply just don't care, or you have a solid panel and you don't care. So this is it. For cable management, this is outstanding. This is perfect. You can manage it quite nicely. And for those that don't care, there is certain percentage of you guys that still love to do a proper cable management because it's easier to clean it afterwards and all the other stuff, right? But it's flexible, 24-pin, outstanding flat cable, goes in pair with this. And since I mentioned all other cables are like that, so I don't have to go into that details. Actually, only one more, the 12 VHPWR cable. So it has the four connectors here divided from the whole stack. And of course, that's quite logical. It is flexible-ish, but as you can see, it has 2.5 centimeters of distance where you could bend it sooner, but I wouldn't suggest it. And it's quite nice. I do have to say this one is fully straight and it is bendable. But again, it starts bending if you don't push it by force. It starts bending and at 2.5, even though 3.5 was suggested. But I think that's quite all right. I think that's quite all right. Now, the next thing, you open this, right? You get the cables. Then you get the power cord for your wall socket, which is always the same. And then you get this. So we have 4 screws, and they're actually thumb screws. But you get a screwdriver, and you get a Velcro tie, and you get a GAMEMAX badge. So this is actually the first time I'm seeing a screwdriver, a magnetic screwdriver, being shipped with a power supply. Okay, that's new, but of course positive, I can't deny. Then we get these gloves, and that's another thing that I'm seeing for the first time with the power supply package, but it's quite all right. I mean, they look quite solid. As I stated, overview and introduction. So I'm going into details with everything else because can't properly test out the power supply. Oh, these are really nice. I can't even this is a shocker, to be honest, because you can basically build if you desire to do so, but I don't prefer using gloves because I can't feel anything, and I like to, when I'm doing something, I like to have 100% grip with my fingers instead of gloves. But for some of you guys that want this, it's here. That's it from this box right here, from this bag. It's quite a nice bag, without a doubt. But the main thing is right here. So you see a white power supply, right? Okay. nothing strange. We have a black and white version constantly going out. But then you check out, first of all, you have holes here on the side, you have holes here on the side. You have huge opening here in terms of more access for the airflow. Opening here at the back where you actually have the plug for your power socket and on-off switch, right? And it's impressive, first of all, because this is also the first power supply that I've seen having holes here. And I think this is for better air exhaust, because usually it goes in here from this side and exhausts through the back right here. This, it can exhaust anywhere. And this is actually really good because it doesn't have, actually, it can't exhaust here. And no, actually, I made a mistake. Yeah, sorry. So it has an opening, but guess what? They placed a plastic foil before it, so it actually doesn't make sense whatsoever. It's there and that's it. Maybe because of the, which is logical, protection if some cable gets, I don't know, addressable RGB cable lets loose in the case and the connection part goes inside. Just guessing what could happen. But let's go from this side. So we have here, this is 10 plus 22 pin for your motherboard, which comes into 24 pin for your CPU. Then we have four PCI CPU connectors. Those are 8 pins. We have 12V HPWR, and we have 4 peripheral or SATA cables, which is quite normal. And the cool thing is, it looks quite nice, I do have to say. I mean, the plastic foil is invisible, so if you go with a case that actually has the possibility for the power supply to be visible, this will be quite an attractive look, because if you're going with a visible power supply, then it has to be an attractive case, right? So in those terms, this fits the bill. When we're talking about some other stuff, so this Pro White version, the GX Rampage, comes in 4 varieties. So we have GX750 and 850, which are 80 plus gold, and then we have 1050 and 1250, which are 80 plus platinum. It has APFC plus LLC plus DC-DC design, 90% efficiency or higher under typical loads. We're talking about dimensions 86 times 160 times 150, so it is a bit longer. Well, this is the standard for above 1000 watts. What I got shocked last time when I did an overview was the power supply was 150 times 150 and over 1000 watts. So that was insane, but still. It's fully modular. It has axial tech fan design, which means that it features a smaller hub that facilitates longer blades, and it has a barrier ring on each of the propeller or the blade that increases downward air pressure, which is really good for a better airflow. And this also means that the fan doesn't have to spin up that much, and the entire assembly spins on FDB, which is good for durability, of course. Then PCI 5.0, 5.1 ready for the GPUs, because the 12V HPW ARP connection interface adopts a 12 plus 4 pin combined interface, and we're talking about 600 watts here. We also have the protection as usual, so OTP, OPP, OVP, UVP, SCP, OCP, electrical multi-protection, which are all included in this one. So it actually, what they stated at least, offers excellent stability, durability, and reliability. As already stated about the flexibility, which is really good. We have 124 pin, which is 20 plus 4. We have 2 EPS, which are 8 pin. We have 4 PCIe 6 plus 2 pins, which means that one cable is splitted into 2. Then we have one 12V HPWR or 16 pin, 10 SATA, which are 5 pin, 3 peripheral, which are 4 pin, so Molex, and then we have 1 FDD. Honestly, I don't know who actually needs FDD anymore, but regardless of that, we have it. A bit more when we're talking about the fan. So the fan is 13.5 centimeter silent fan with smaller hub, but I already is a 13.5 centimeters silent fan. The power supply has 105 degrees Celsius mainstream capacitors, which, yeah, it's a bit different than your standard Japanese capacitors, and components by SMT produced, quick heat dissipation, and it's more stable. As I stated at the beginning, this is an overview and introduction of the power supply and the new brand that actually had the possibility to check out their power supply. Apart from this, there's nothing more that I could do to give you more information, apart from plugging it in and testing it out under load, which I still can't calculate because of that lab that I'm missing. So basically, everything else is, I'll put the link below for you guys that want to check it out. We have the GAMEMAX GX Rampage 1050 watts power supply. This is 80 plus platinum, fully modular, 13.5 millimeter FDB fan, which is designed to be silent because of the, first of all, the size, then for the additional ring that connects all the blades, and quite interesting design. Shame we can't have the additional airflow here because of the protection for the inner components, and so they don't short circuit. But looks nice. Definitely something that you could use for open air chassis, because it looks quite nice and visually appealing. So it's not your regular power supply that just has some sticker slapped all over it. Actually, it doesn't have any sticker whatsoever. So any position in the case, this will look quite nice. Yeah. Link is in the description for the GAMEMAX Rampage GX Rampage 1050 80 plus platinum, so you can check out the price and more details about it. And that'll be all for today. Hopefully the case from GAMEMAX will eventually arrive, so we can do a build and to show you more about the power supply case and talk about it in more details. And that'll be all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you in another one. Bye bye.